Sea of Stars is a turn-based RPG released in 2023 developed by Sabotage Studios. It is heavily inspired by classic RPGs like Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG. It was successfully funded on Kickstarter and I have heard nothing but praise so far about it, so I thought I'd give it a go. You play as two Solstice warriors, Zale and Valerie, who have sun and moon magic and must fight evil forces in order to save the world, just your typical RPG plot. They start off in a school where they learn to use their magic and then get set off to the world to fight increasingly difficult creatures. There is lots of lore in the game making the world seem interesting. I just wish there were actual quest wasn't so generic, at least to start with. As I started to lose interest fast, I just feel like I knew where the story was going to go. That being said, it does get better towards the end of the story, and if you're going for the true ending, the game starts to throw in twists and less typical locations. Luckily, the characters you meet are quite charming and memorable. You get a few companions on your journey who all have interesting backstories and development, like Nal, who is your overly positive childhood friend who loses an eye because of you when you were children, or Sierra, who likes to hide her true identity under a mask. Unfortunately, the most boring characters in the games are the ones you play as. At the start of the game, they want to save the world, and that's kind of it throughout the game. They lack personality and are overshadowed by your companions. The levels are also your typical RPG fare. You have towns where you can buy equipment and get some quests, then the actual levels where you'll run into enemies. These range from snowy mountains, water areas, and even a haunted forest. The gorgeous pixel art making these areas stand out with its use of colour and lighting. The music is also pretty good and fits the game well. So how's the actual gameplay? It's alright if you played a turn-based RPG before. There won't be many surprises for you. When in combat, you will take it in turns to attack your enemies. At the start of your turn, you can choose which of your characters go first. You don't have to play them in a set order. Also, you can swap out characters anytime on your turn, but can only have 3 active at a time. This game has time attacks like in Super Mario RPG, where if you press a button just as your attack lands, you can do bonus damage, same for defending, keeping you engaged even if I suck at the timing. You can also use combo attacks where your 2 of your teammates combine powers for a high damage attack, but this can take a while to charge up. This game uses a lock system. This is where an enemy will charge up an attack and you have a chance to stop or weaken the move. A number of locks will appear next to an enemy and you will have to use different types of moves to destroy the lock in a limited number of turns. So if there is a lock with a sword, that means slash damage, hammer means blunt, sun means sun damage, etc. I like this system. It means you have to strategize and focus on that enemy if you don't want to take a lot of damage. The annoying thing is you have to guess what move to do, as some of the locks are hidden until you break them with a move. Fortunately, this game has relics, which are basically difficulty modifiers you can use to make the game easier or harder for yourself. So I turned on the one that made the locks show me what moves I needed to use, making the game a lot funner for me because the locks come up a lot. You can think of relics more like upgrades as you can find them throughout the game. There are no random encounter, which isn't typical for your RPGs. You can see the enemies moving, meaning you have a chance to avoid them if you're on low health or just can't be asked to fight them. I also didn't find the need to grind at all, so that's nice. This game has a surprising amount of traversal mechanics, making it feel more interactive than your typical RPG. You can jump across gaps, swim, climb up ledges, and you can even get a grapple hook later on. This really helps level design, as chests and collectibles can be hidden all over and you have to figure out how to get to them. There are some simple puzzles throughout, like sliding blocks, which breaks up the gameplay, but I could take or leave them. There is also a fishing minigame, which is really easy, but a nice distraction. There is also a minigame like Gwent called Wheels, because all RPGs need these apparently. The goal is to use 2 characters to destroy the enemy base. You will have 5 dice, 3 times, picking which ones you want to hold, and at the end of the 3rd time, if you have 3 or more of the same dice, that power will be used. So if you have 3 or more hammers, you will build a wall protecting your base. It's a fairly fun minigame, and it's entirely optional. Sea of Stars is a well-made game. It does everything it's trying to do well. Just for me, it doesn't do anything extraordinary. The combat is fun, but after the first few hours, you've seen everything it's going to throw at you. The story is nothing you haven't seen before, but it's still good. It sounds like I'm being harsh, I'm not trying to be. It's a good, well-made game. I just don't seem to love it like everyone else does. Now time to rank it. This is a tough one, and I don't think I'm going to play this again, which is what I said about World at War, so deciding if I'm going to put it below or above that. I'm going to put it above it. I really like the pixel art, and I think Sea of Stars was a bit more fun for me than COD because of the engaging turn-based mechanics and charming characters. Well, that's it.